Hi everyone, this is Emily again. We'll continue our conversation. So Emily, we just went over high school experience, how you applied to college and all of that. So how would you recommend the next generation, for higher education? During high school, when they're in high school?
I think even if your grades are bad right now, it's never too late to really start trying. Because I think if teachers just start seeing you put in the effort, then they'll start to also care about you. Let's see. It does take time, but don't get discouraged that you get a bad grade, or don't stop just because of that. Always keep trying. I think it's really, really important to be persistent and consistent, and be ready to do poorly every now and then.
Okay. Now, does it make any difference, for being a Cambodian woman as opposed to,
I guess for me, in terms of feeling like I fit into my school, it definitely changed a lot. I guess me growing up looking a lot more Chinese, it was always very hard to fit into a Cambodian community, even though I felt in my heart I was Cambodian. But then that was something that that kept being really, really important to me when I moved to Georgia, and I was the only Cambodian in my school. So I learned to take a lot of pride in the fact that I was Cambodian. My family has always been Khmer, and even if I don't speak Khmer, it's still something that runs through me and my family. And that what happened to our family and what happens to a lot of Cambodian families kind of shows that we are resilient, and that we work hard, and that being here in the States is already one step further in getting really good opportunities in America.
Okay. Now we talk about tests, right? We talk about ACT. You took ACT and subject test on SAT. That was required for Stanford, and Stanford became your first choice. You got accepted to all the colleges you applied to.
Right.
Now, how did you move? What was your transition like? From Georgia to California?
Very different, that's for sure. I wasn't expecting the weather to be so nice here, but also to never really see rain or snow. So that was a big change, I think. Also not seeing my family, which is really, really difficult for me, because despite all of the changes that I've had growing up and all the hard times that I had, I always had my family there, and not having them there and not being there to see my sisters grow and get used to to their high school or their middle school is definitely a big change.
So how did you prepare for that?
I kind of, before coming to Stanford, knowing that I got in and would have to leave home at some point, I spent a lot more time with my family, because I knew that was something I wasn't going to have when I come back. And even if I do go home, it's slightly different, because I'm spending a lot of time trying to catch up on their lives rather than just being with them. So that was one of the biggest things, was just being with my family, and then also working for money so that I could kind of live comfortably here. Especially since the standard of living is just more expensive here. Because I could get food for $6 or $7 in Georgia, but then have to pay $10, $11 here.
Wait a minute, you got scholarship here, right?
Yeah, I got a scholarship.
Is it a full ride?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So the only thing I really pay for is transportation back home, which is a little expensive still, because flying between San Francisco and Georgia is still about $500 round trip.
So the scholarship that you got is part of the Stanford scholarship, or
yeah, so Stanford has a very, very generous scholarship. So I don't pay for tuition, room and board, or something like that, because my parents make low enough money. That's actually the case for a lot of students. I think about 70% of the students that come here are on some form of scholarship through Stanford. Yeah.
Okay. So you mentioned about your interesting major. Can you describe what it is?
Yeah, so I'm currently a symbolic systems major. It's kind of computer science and psychology, but I know a lot of people who do more a more purely computer science version of it, or more linguistics focused, or more philosophy focused. It depends on what you're interested in, but I'm specifically the cognitive science track, which is like the computer science psychology.
And the job that you expect to get out of this major?
Not certain, but what I hope is to kind of get more involved with like the combination and intersection of technology and education.
Education.
Yeah.
You also have a minor, right?
Oh yeah, I'm also minoring right now in East Asian Studies, the Japanese sub-plan, so I'm learning mostly the Japanese language, but also a little bit of Japanese culture.
So how many classes do you have per day? Or describe your daily activity at Stanford.
Yeah, so my classes start at around 9:30 in the morning, which is actually early for most students.
Oh, okay.
The average student here I think starts at around 10:30.
Okay.
But it's usually 2 to 3 classes a day for anywhere from like 80 minutes each or 50 minutes as like the bigger ones. Let's see. So then there's usually lunch somewhere, and then I have some time to either spend with some friends or to do homework, and then I have meetings in the evenings.
Okay.
And then after meetings, I usually...
What meeting are you talking about?
So I'm involved in like the Stanford Vietnamese Student Association, Stanford Khmer Association, the Filipino American Student Union. I'm part of the Asian American Activity Center Advisory Board, and I'm also part of a sorority, Sigma Psi Zeta, which is an Asian interest sorority. So like those are my main things right now. So
how much time you spend?
for extracurricular, I definitely spend a lot
of time.
There are some students here that spend most of their time in extracurricular, and some students here that spend most of their time in academics, and I'm definitely more of the extracurricular one. This is actually like the least number of clubs that I've been in so far, because last year I was involved also with Marlai, which is the Vietnamese band dance group, Asian American Students Association, well, not so much that one, but more so like I was like dabbling in that, and then the Stanford Asian American Activists Coalition. What else? And I also helped out with Kayuwangi, which is the
So how do you balance between academic and extracurricular activities?
At first, it was a lot of me not sleeping.
Okay.
But that's not healthy and not sustainable here. So my balance now is that like rather than doing like the 10 clubs that I did last year, I stuck to 5 that I really care about. And even now, like I'm only taking leadership positions in 2 of them. And then I'm a general member for the rest. So the ones that I put the most energy into are the ones that like take up the most of my time, because leading like the Stanford Khmer Association does take a lot of time and energy out of my day. And like,
such as today.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
So,
now, how much time do you have then to spend on doing your homework every day?
Not too much. So this specific quarter, I took less units than I usually do. So
how many units are you talking about?
The average that I was expected to take per quarter is 15, and then the minimum is 12. 12. Yeah, so I'm taking 14 right now.
Okay.
But I started off thinking I would do 18, but as like the quarter went on, I thought maybe I should reduce it to 14, which is also just, it's fine. It's not unusual for people to take like 14 here.
So 14 units, that's how many classes? 3 or 4 or 5 classes?
That is 4 classes.
4 classes.
Yeah.
So for those 4 classes, how much time do you spend for each per night or per day?
Per day, I spend at least a good like 3 or 4 hours.
Per class?
Per day.
Per day for all the classes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
per day.
Which averages at around like 3 to 4 hours per class each week. Some classes definitely a lot more like 5 to 10, depending on like how heavy the class is.
Right now you are a sophomore, so you're still taking a lot of introductory classes, right?
Right.
Okay.
So I'm currently in like Intro to Philosophy, taking a Japanese like conversation class instead. I'm starting to get more involved in like the psychology department, so a lot of my classes are starting to step out of like what people usually take. So.
And are these bigger classes right now?
Generally, yeah, they're all lecture style classes, except for my conversation class.
Like the auditorium style?
Yes.
Okay.
So
how do you manage the number of students? I mean, not with that side of class.
Yeah, so it's a big enough class where like I usually have at least 1 or 2 friends taking the class with me.
Oh, okay.
So I'm always sitting like towards the front with like my friends.
Okay.
So that we can kind of hold each other accountable.
Okay. So how do you feel taking classes at Stanford? How difficult are they?
some of them are really, really difficult, specifically like the CS classes. Those are they're challenging for a reason, but they're also really interesting. I think it helps that I'm taking classes that I'm actually very interested in and like very passionate about. So even if it's hard, it's still something I'm willing to put in the time and energy for, as opposed to like the required writing classes, which I am less willing to do.
So what you do to kind of help you to overcome all these challenges?
I think Stanford does a pretty good job of taking care of their students. There's always someone to talk to if you have a problem. So if like you're going through something like really emotional or you're feeling homesick, they have counselors that can help you with that. If you're struggling with like finding a good academic balance and extracurricular balance, there are counselors that are going to help you figure out how to balance those things or figure out what classes you should take moving forward.
So you mentioned you didn't have a mentor in high school. Do you now have mentors?
I think I find mentors in a lot of the upperclassmen that I meet.
Oh, okay.
Everyone here is always willing to help each other, which I think is really amazing about the school. So I always have like someone that I can like knock on their door and just ask them a few questions, and they're usually good at giving advice.
Are these from the SKA
They
club?
can be.
Okay.
So someone that I go to a lot for different hobbies is the president of SKA last year. Amy Cash.
Yeah.
And she's definitely been like someone I look up to. And hopefully that's like something that can be the same for like the freshmen that are coming in, and they can find mentors in either like me or any of the other SKA.
Now the class you mentioned, you want to take 18 units and you reduce it down to 14. Will that still allow you to graduate within 4 years?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that does mean I like might have to take some harder courses in the future, or like have a harder quarter.
Okay.
But that by then I'll probably prepare myself enough to like actually be able to do it.
Okay.
And take like less extracurricular.
So most students do graduate within 4 years then?
Yeah. The average, I think a good like 90% graduate on time, and then it's not uncommon for someone to take a 5th year. And then a lot of times people also take an additional year as a co-chair student.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you mention you also work on campus?
I don't work on campus.
Okay.
I know plenty of people who do.
Okay.
And I'm in the process of like finding a job on campus, which is not like a huge deal for me because like I am still really, really busy.
Okay.
But it's definitely possible to find jobs here, especially if you're on federal work study.
So if you had to describe your experience at Stanford, how would you say that?
Very challenging, for sure. Not many people come as like a first-generation college student, and not many people come as a low-income student. Like I think that's a very, very small community here, so that comes with its own like challenges by itself. Because everyone here has money, everyone here has parents that went to college.
Yeah.
So getting used to that was already by itself really, really hard. On top of just like a very different academic experience, it's definitely harder than high school. And people come in expecting and knowing that it'll be hard. And people who get like straight A's in high school are gonna get their first F or their first C or anything. And it definitely pushes you to be more willing and accepting of failure, because like I feel like in high school like it's very easy to be like the perfect student. But here that's not
the case. Okay.
Yeah, so it definitely forces you to like take responsibility of things.
So what do you anger yourself with to ensure that you feel okay on campus?
In terms of like...
In terms of that you feel comfortable, you feel competitive, you can, you are as qualified as anybody else, you can make it.
Yeah, how? So the first thing and like of course as a sophomore I'm still like trying to figure that out for sure, but the first thing that like I keep reminding myself is that it's not a competition here. We competed enough in high school trying to get here in the first place. We shouldn't have to compete again, because all of us got in here for a very special, very specific reason, but also very different reasons. So what got us here and what makes us special coming here might be completely different from someone else. And so just stop comparing yourself to people. Like, the biggest thing for me. And then I feel like also just reminding myself that like what brings me here is something that's very different and very special. Like my story is very different from a lot of people here, especially being Cambodian, where it's already very rare to find. So holding on to that is really important to me.
Okay. So how would you suggest to the next generation of Cambodian students who wish to come to Stanford?
The first thing is to apply. Like, don't be afraid to apply. That's what happened to me, and I was so scared of not getting in. And I feel like if I stayed scared, I wouldn't have even bothered applying. And I'm really grateful for like my friend that pushed me to sign up and like send in my application. So that's a good thing. And like, and also to just like never give up. Like, sure, Stanford's a great school, but just because you don't get in, or like even if you don't get in, it doesn't change the fact that like you as an individual is still incredible and strong, and like you can still get an amazing opportunity wherever you go, even if it's not Stanford. Yeah.
So I just want to stress on the being a Cambodian woman.
Yeah.
Pursuing higher education at Stanford.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
Yeah. I know oftentimes, like, I guess the way like the system works is to push Cambodian people outside of higher education, or like to stop at high school, or even drop out of high school. But like, please try and stay. I think that's such an important thing. It's like, I know it's there, everything's like fighting against you to like leave, and like there are things that keep you from graduating or keep you from staying in school, but like, don't give up on school. I think is important.
So what are you looking for coming to Stanford, basically?
Yeah, so coming into Stanford, I think as someone who is Cambodian, I definitely want to like show that there is a way to make an impact no matter what. Like, as Cambodian people, we've been through a lot of hard things already. I think things will always be hard no matter where you go, but like the fact that we're always resilient and always strong and able to push through things is like
you mentioned that after you graduate, you may or may not go to grad school because of the major that you're in. Can you talk about a little bit about that?
Yeah, so with Simsys, a lot of people end up going straight into industry. So working at like a big company, or like working at a nonprofit, or even taking a few years off. Like, my plan probably is to like take a year off and try and learn like Khmer, go to Cambodia, and like really figure that out, because Stanford does, as much as it's great to have the Stanford Khmer Association, there aren't a lot of opportunities to like learn the language or like really get involved with like the culture. And so I feel like I want to immerse myself in that, because like it's a big goal of mine, like in life, to get back in touch with like, that part of my identity.
I'm not sure how familiar you are with our Cambodian community, where women usually are being, discouraged to pursue higher education. Are not being given equal rights and opportunity. How would you say that to the younger women, Cambodian women?
Yeah, I say prove that stereotype wrong, or prove that you can do it. Like, even as like being like in tech, for example, there's this like stigma that like women aren't as good at tech, but like being that person to prove them wrong and showing that you are good at tech, or like just being that person to like challenge that, I think is really important, or like it's something I want to enforce and push, because like just because they say you can't do it doesn't mean you can't do it, because like you know you can do it. Okay,
is that why you're in tech, in computer science, sort of?
I do it because I like it.
Okay.
But like, just because someone's gonna say like I can't doesn't mean I'm gonna stop. Like, because like I personally know that I am just as qualified as anyone else, and so that's not gonna stop me from trying my best, pursuing it. Okay.
Now, I don't have any more question. Is there anything that you would like to add?
I guess there's like, keep an eye out for CREW, which is our Cambodians Rising Education Weekend. It's in April, I think, or it's
April
the week
6th,
before
right?
Khmer New Year.
Yes, April 6th, right?
Yeah, so it's the first week of our spring quarter, but it's like a weekend-long event, and you can come onto campus and like learn more about like Khmer identity, or like ways to achieve higher education, and like you also just get to explore this campus, which you can only see like so much of on like, the video.
Right.
So living basically like the life of a college student for like, a weekend.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.